Hey, thank everybody for being here today. I really appreciate you guys for coming out. I want to start by thanking Chancellor Vitter. Ross, thank you so much for your leadership. I'm so excited to have the opportunity to be the head coach at the University of Mississippi. To my wife, Ashley, my two boys, Harrison and Cooper, thank you so much for your sacrifice. To my mom and dad, I appreciate y'all making this possible. I've been an Ole Miss Rebel all my life. It's all I can remember, from seeing my dad's 35 helmet hanging in my den, pictures of his playing days hanging in my room, making the 5-hour drive from Gulfport to Oxford to watch my brother Tom play, wearing the 17 jersey in the Grove, playing touch football. I can't believe that I've spent 14 years of my life as a player or a coach here. I can truly tell y'all today that this is my dream job. It's a job that I've been preparing my whole life for. I feel more strongly now than ever that I'm the right man to run this program. I'm so excited about our players. They've been through so much adversity. They've never wavered. Not one time they haven't wavered. They sacrifice so much. They get up in the mornings, they do their running, they go to class, they go to the weight room, they do their position running, they go to study hall, and they do it over and over again. It was evident to me at the team meeting on Thursday that these guys, they just want to play football. They just want to go out and play the game that they love. They want to go out and represent Ole Miss and win football games. It's my job to make sure the focus stays on the players. My staff and I will do everything in our power to give these young men the opportunity to be successful on and off the field. Those young men deserve that. As far as my staff goes, I'm planning on hiring an offensive line coach so I can focus on being the head coach. I'm so excited that Wesley McGriff's going to be our associate head coach. His passion and his energy is contagious. He's a proven leader of young men, and what he did with our defense this spring was phenomenal. Phil Longo running the offense, he's one of the brightest minds in college football. I got a chance to work with him in the spring side by side. His talent, it was evident. And to see him work with all the pieces we have on offense is going to be a lot of fun. To our fans, I know that there's a lot of you out there watching today. Thank you so much for the text and the phone calls, the former players and the former teammates. It's meant so much to me. It's more important now than ever that Rebel Nation stands together. It reminds me of 1989 when Chucky Mullen said, "It's time." It is time. It's time for Ole Miss and Rebel Nation to move forward together. I am honored to be the head coach at Ole Miss. It's your university. It's my university. It's our university. I cannot wait to walk down that tunnel September 2nd and lock the vault together. Thank you, and hotty toddy.
All right, if you guys have questions, we will bring the microphone to you. Just raise your hand, and Alex will bring it.
Matt, concerning what you're going to do with the team, you plan on keeping what you did in spring, or will there be some minor changes, or what's your strategy?
No, the staff's going to remain intact. Offense and defense will be the same. 95% of everything is going to stay the same, but I plan on bringing my passion and my energy along with it.
Coach, this may not be how you thought you'd get your first head coaching job, but what does this opportunity mean to you?
Like I said, it's a dream of mine. I feel like it's something that I've been preparing my whole life for. I'm grateful to Ross for the opportunity, and I'm grateful for the players. And I'm just excited to take it one game at a time.
Matt, I know a lot of you guys were close with Hugh personally, professionally, all those things, and admired the way he ran the program. How difficult was it to, have the news come down like it did, and these last couple days with the staff? I mean, how do you try to hold it together?
We had a great 5-year run, and my job is to get the team ready to play. We got a little over a week before we start practice, and my focus is on moving forward. Our focus is on the players, because that's where your focus needs to be. That's what college football is about. It's about the student athletes. So my focus is on getting these kids ready to play and giving them every opportunity to be successful.
Did he give you any explanation about what happened?
We talked briefly. He just told me to be myself.
Matt, can you kind of take us through the 2 or 3 days maybe before Thursday? When did you first find out this was something that could happen? How much time did you have to sort of prepare for your first meeting with the team, that kind of thing?
Yeah, I found out 4 o'clock on Thursday. Ross told me to come see him in his office and said he was going to make a change and would I be willing to lead the program. And I said yes.
Matt, from an emotional standpoint, have you allowed yourself to go there when you walk through the Grove, leading the team? You kind of talked about that earlier, about walking onto the field. And the second part question, how was the phone call between you and your dad when you knew you had the job?
Emotional, as you can imagine. But again, when playing is a dream for you and coaching is a dream for you, I mean, when you get the head coaching job, it's even more special. So I guess to answer your question, emotional.
You've been with these guys for since you've been here, you've seen puppies grow into full-grown dogs. What's your expectation for this team coming off of a loss, all the things that have happened?
My expectation is that we put a product on the field that plays with passion, that plays with energy, and we put a product on the field that all the Ole Miss fans are going to be proud of. And we're just going to take it one game at a time, one practice at a time. And that's my vision, is to go out and play the game the way it's supposed to be played. That's the way I learned how to play it when I was here. And, that's my vision, is that we play the game the way it's supposed to be played, with passion, with energy, and toughness.
Kind of in the recent past, like situations at Arkansas and Baylor and some different things, when changes were made in the summer, I know those are all different type of situations, but when a coaching change is made in the summer, a lot of times the upcoming season has pretty much been a disaster for those teams. Why do you think it's so hard to rally a team at a late date, and why do you think this situation could be different?
I'm excited about the challenge. I feel like my history here, my 14 years here of experience, seeing it done right, seeing it done wrong, I think that's going to be immeasurable. These kids know my heart and they know my passion, and I'm excited for the challenge.
Matt,
Where are you?
I believe you played on a team that had to go through a postseason ban, like in your playing days. Do you feel like that kind of helps you, in this scenario?
Absolutely. I think it creates a unique bond with teammates. You are playing for the guy next to you. And, that is so special. And I remember the 1997, all the seniors on that team, to be able to take those guys to a bowl game coming out of that, you'll never forget that.
If you could, this may be a private thing, but could you tell us maybe some of the reaction from some of the players when they realized you were going to be their head coach?
I was so thrilled on Thursday night. They have been awesome. Like I said, it was just clear. These guys are excited. They just want to play football. They're tired of the noise. They're tired of the distractions. They just want to move forward and play football. They want to go do what they love. And, I can't wait for August 2nd to get here. And we even go to work.
You mentioned you've learned a lot of the good and the bad of the last 5 years and everything. Just looking back the 5 years most recently with Hugh Freeze, what are the good things you learned from Hugh Freeze, and what are some of the bad things that you might not copy?
Well, again, I'm planning on moving forward this season, and it's not just Coach Freeze. I mean, it's Coach Cutcliffe, it's Coach Tuberville, it's me being around Coach Fulmer, Coach Panunzi, all the head coaches I've been around, even Coach Orgeron. I can take something from each one of those people and then put my own twist on it. And again, with the length of time and me preparing for this job, I'm excited for it and excited to take all of my knowledge and experience and put it to use at my university.
You stole my thunder. I was going to follow up to that and ask you about former coaches that maybe have influenced you. But from an X's and O's standpoint, where have you pulled, what you think is the right way to play this game from?
I think if you want to be a successful coach, you have to go to your talent. There's different players on each team that have a different skill set, and what a good coach does is he makes sure his offense fits their skill set. With Shea Patterson's different than Chad Kelly. I think you have to use the players that you have. That's what makes a good offensive coach, is being able to use the weapons that you have to be successful.
Matt, looking at your roster, very few seniors on this team, so it's obviously a very young team. Can you talk about some of those young guys who've taken those roles as a leadership?
Sure, and even though there aren't many seniors, I think last year we had a lot of young players get a bunch of playing time. And you think about, on the offensive line, you think about freshmen like Greg Little and Alex Givens. You think about, sophomores, Javon Patterson. You think about all the young receivers that are playing, the young quarterbacks. I mean, you just got a lot of solid talent that got a bunch of experience. You can't get that. You got to go out there and do it. So we're really, really excited, to see some of those young guys step up, and now they're going to be comfortable and maybe step into a little bit more of a leadership role.
When you talked about the job Coach McGriff did during spring training, get a little more specific on what turned your head.
You know what? I mean, the number one thing was discipline. You noticed that right out of the chute. What they're all wearing the same things. They were disciplined. The way they set their helmet, the little things. I immediately saw discipline, and I love how he just keeps it simple, and they do something fast and physical every day. They kept it simple, and they just played good, hard-nosed football. But the first thing to answer your question was the discipline. That really stood out to me.
Matt, thinking about what Shea's kind of gone through from getting thrown into it, wasn't expecting to play November 2, all the stuff he's had to deal with now, how has he kind of adjusted and dealt with all of this stuff going around?
I mean, he was one of the first ones to come up to me. He said, "Coach, let's go win some football games." And I think he is excited about getting out there and playing, to put all the distractions behind him and just going and playing football.
Coach Freeze recently talked about playing with a little more aggression on offense, maybe going for it on fourth down a little bit more. Is that a mindset that you're going to carry over?
We're going to do everything we can to win games. Each game is precious and each game is different. I mean, we're going to attack each game differently and find a way to win that week. That's the goal. So I think you have to approach each game differently. But the goal is obviously to go out there and win.
Matt, just what's your time frame looking like for the offensive line coach hire?
Yeah, it's an ongoing process. I'm hoping to have somebody in place by the end of the week. But as soon as we get it, we'll let you guys know.
Matt, you mentioned player morale, but with the postseason ban and losing their coach that a lot of these guys were close to, if things don't go well early in the season, how do you keep them motivated?
Well, and again, to me, that's easy. The motivation is each other. When you're working this hard and doing all these things together, you go through all this adversity together, it brings the team closer. And I think that our kids will be mentally tougher for having gone through all this. And I think, but to answer your question, playing for the guy beside you, I think that's what's going to motivate them.
Coach, I know it's only been a few days, but what's been your biggest challenge so far?
Keeping my emotions in check. I'm so grateful. You dream about this your whole life, and just to have the chance to stand up here in front of you guys, just, keeping my emotions in check where I can do my job. And, just get back to work and doing your job day after day, because that ultimately is what's going to make us successful.
All right. One last question from Neil on the front.
South Carolina pursued you back in, I guess, December. Can you talk about the decision that you ultimately made, whether to go there, to stay here, how difficult that decision was, that kind of thing?
My whole family lives here. My wife is from Oxford. Her family lives here. My mom and dad are here. My brother's here. This is something that's very, very special to me. And you can't put a price tag on family. And I was so excited to have the opportunity. And you never want to take those times for granted. And just so excited to have the opportunity to be around family and to be at my university.
I will take questions at the top of the room.
Coach, as a trusted lieutenant in this football program, initial thoughts, initial reaction when you heard that Hugh Freeze was stepping down?
I was surprised, but I didn't have time long because I was given a job to do. So immediately my focus went to moving forward, went to the players and trying to get this team ready to win football games.
Any more questions up top? All right, thanks, folks. We will have Coach McGriff up here in just a moment.
All right, thank you, guys.